Welcome to iCritic Live. This is the podcast where we talk about entertainment, pop culture, and life in between. I'm your host, Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your time here with me today. And yeah, I know it's been a few weeks since I've uploaded a podcast. I've actually started a couple of them, to be perfectly honest, and then just found out I was not passionate about. Like, I was in the editing, like just kind of listening. I mean, I don't do a lot of editing, but I do a very basic run through of what I do. And the last couple episodes I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I know I'm doing this because it's a popular topic, but I'm not passionate about this. But you know what topic I am passionate about? It's gaming. And I don't talk about gaming much, but I really do love playing games. Aside from the fact that they're fun, aside from the artistry that goes into some of them, a really good game can give you an experience that movies and books can't provide. You can literally become like a character and go on a journey and stuff like that. There's a reason RPGs are so popular with people because I mean, yeah, a movie and a book can take you to another world, but a video game like an EverQuest or a Final Fantasy or an Outer Worlds, if you will, like, you know, these can like give you an experience. Like, you kind of feel like you are living another life, and it can be quite fun and quite exciting. And so I like playing games, and ironically, I've been playing a lot of games recently, most of which, you're gonna laugh, is on my Xbox. Xbox is my primary gaming platform. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on with Xbox, and some of it is very, very concerning. But as someone who is console and game company agnostic, I also own a PlayStation 5 and I have a Nintendo Switch too. So when I'm done playing my Disney Dreamlight Valley and Ninja Gaiden 4 on my Xbox, I will switch over and I will play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the PS5, which I am finally, after having not played it for several months, getting back into that one. There's a story behind it, probably for another day, why I stopped playing that for so long. And I'll tell that story one of these days. It probably won't be till the new year, but, you know, I do plan to share that story. And so I watch a lot of gaming news videos because I'm passionate about it. And, you know, Xbox has not been in a great place this week. Faith in the brand, as they say, it's very, very low. Like, not since the Xbox One reveal, where they basically announced the system with a bunch of TV shows and a Kinect that was always connected and a box that was always online. By the way, I'm one of the few people who actually kind of liked that Kinect. I was disappointed more wasn't done with it, but, you know. But the sentiment at the time was not good, and I understood why the sentiment was bad. And I kind of feel like I'm in the same position this time. I understand why the sentiment is bad. I understand why people don't have faith. But here's the thing. I am not going to stop playing on my Xbox. And I actually don't think the future is as bleak as people think. They are definitely going to be doing something new, but I feel like maybe the new might not be as scary as we're making it sound. Now, I don't know if this podcast or video podcast is going to get pushed out into the algorithm because, you know, right now it's very cool to be negative on Microsoft and Xbox. And here's the thing. I am going to acknowledge some of the misgivings right now that I do agree with. One, while I don't know if this is actually fatal anymore, I don't believe it is the best idea to make all of your games multi-platform. At least keep it to like a year or two timed exclusive before you start putting your stuff on other systems. This whole third-party route where like Halo's going to be on every single system, that is not something I'm 100% in agreement with, but again, there's a flip side to this argument that I'm going to get into in a minute. This 30% return on investment profit thing, that is really bad. That's the thing that's been, I think, contributing to most of the rash decisions at Microsoft, is that they need to just get their profit margins up. And the chief financial officer is asking for way more than what this industry usually provides. And by insisting on that, that means that yes, there's probably going to be less risks, there's going to be less involvement going on. Like, this is why a Perfect Dark game gets canceled, but you lean more into Halo and Call of Duty because those are the safe bets. I agree with that. And price is a concern. I do not agree with raising the hardware prices the way that they have, because as someone who loves Xbox, it's not worth it at these prices. Like, $800 for an Xbox console is not a good deal. And while I don't think the Game Pass is outrageously expensive, you don't raise the price 50%. You raise it $2 or $3. You do the slow frog boiling thing, like you raise it by a couple bucks and you just slowly turn up the heat. What you did was you dumped the frogs, which are the consumers, into the already boiling pot, and they jumped out, which is what happened. So anyway, I don't like those things, but here's the thing. From what I'm hearing about the future and what Microsoft is making known, I don't know if the future of Xbox is as grim as people are making it sound. It's going to look different, but maybe that's not a bad thing. So it seems, to let you know, and I'm covering a lot of ground here, but it seems like the next Xbox hardware is not going to be a dedicated gaming console. It's going to be a console PC hybrid, where it's like, yep, it's designed for the living room. It's primarily a gaming machine, but it also can double as a PC. Like, the game interface runs on Windows, which, yes, I've heard things about gaming on Windows. I know it's not optimal, but there's also 2 years to go for them to work on this. So let's put that aside for the time being. This system is not coming out for 2 years. And because it's going to be more of a PC console hybrid, it will probably be expensive. We're hearing like $1,200 for this thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it was $1,500, especially if Microsoft no longer wants to lose money on the machines. So it's going to be very expensive. They are promising a premium experience for this thing. Now then, there are some concerns that people are pointing out, like, well, if it's a console hybrid, why are you making hardware at all? Just get out of the hardware business. Then you have, which, to answer that one, here's the thing. Xbox, the original Xbox, was created to become the PC in the living room, because people forget that the reason Microsoft got in there is because there were stories of how powerful the PS2 was going to be, and that it was going to be able to do all these things. And hey, if it can do all these things, why would people get a PC? And so that's why Microsoft invested heavily into Xbox. Now, the whole gaming consoles taking over PCs ended up being complete nonsense, but the whole goal of Xbox was always to be the PC in the living room. And now it literally is going to be a PC in the living room. So in some ways, this is just continuing the path that Microsoft had always set out for what their vision of Xbox was. Now, for PC gamers who have said, like, well, why would you get a PC for the living room when you can just play your games at the desktop? Well, again, this is probably where the hybrid model comes into play. Do I play games on the PC? Not often. I mean, I do sometimes, but I prefer gaming on the couch. I prefer gaming in the bed. I prefer being relaxed when I play games. I don't want to sit up with all these different monitors and the mouse and the keyboard. It's not that I can't do it, but it's not as relaxing as picking up a controller and sitting on the couch with the dog in the lap. So the idea that a PC quality computer can be put in the living room very easily for the whole sole purpose primarily of gaming, that doesn't sound like the worst idea in the world to me. It really doesn't. And then, the thing is, like, hybrid has always been like this thing where it's like we've always hated the idea until we've loved the idea. So I remember when the Switch came out, there was a lot of skepticism. Like, I mean, it looked cool, but it's like, wait, you're going to combine a handheld with a home console? How's that going to work? Well, the Switch proved that it was very much possible. And by the way, with the Steam Decks, we have also found out that yes, people do want to get away from their desktops to game. So it seems like the new Xbox, whatever it's going to be called, is actually addressing some of these concerns. And as for the complaint that, well, when you do this PC console hybrid, you're essentially not in the console wars anymore. You're doing something else, and it's like, well, maybe the console wars in a strange way need to die. Now, I understand the whole competition breeds innovation and things like that, but here's something to keep in mind. Has having agnostic hardware stopped movies from being innovative over the years? Like, yeah, we had like the VHS and the Betamax war and the Blu-ray and the HD DVD war, but and to a lesser extent Laserdisc and DVD, but one format always won out when it came to the hardware, and movies still had to vie for your attention. Is that really going to change that much this time around? Now, and think about it. During the console wars, people were saying how it was basically Sony and Microsoft. Nintendo was doing their own thing with the Switch. And now they're doing their own thing with the Switch too. Well, that didn't take away from competition, did it? We still have plenty of competition innovation. So maybe the console wars are just antiquated, where it's like, okay, you know what? Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft are all doing their own things. They're all providing a certain type of experience, and you will buy the console for which the experience you want. Heck, dare I say it, the Xbox could be the perfect gateway drug for console gamers to become PC gamers, which is what a lot of PC gamers want. Now, I do believe that, if Sony's basically doing like a pure console and Nintendo's doing a hybrid portable thing and Microsoft is doing their own PC thing, like, yeah, obviously there's not going to be much competition there, because it's like, well, the person who wants the $500 PlayStation 6 or whatever it's going to cost is probably not going to want to get the $1,200 Xbox console. They probably won't. And that might embolden Sony to make less games or whatever, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, content is king. Kaz Hira said that years ago when he was talking about the PlayStation 3. Content is king. And when you look at all the best-selling games, there is a lot of truth that the most successful games are the multi-platform games. And I don't really care what system I'm playing the game on. I just want to play it. And the reason I primarily play on my Xbox Series X is because that's usually the system that has the best presentation of the game. Not all the time. I could play Death Stranding on the Xbox Series X, but I play it on the PlayStation 5 because the features are all customized for the PlayStation 5 controller. So, there you go. But if someone only had access to an Xbox Series X version of Death Stranding, would they have a less enjoyable time? Probably not, because the game is largely the same. So I'm actually kind of looking at the future like, I don't think this is a bad thing. I don't think this is a bad thing. And actually, what's going to be really interesting is because Sony is also doing third-party platforms. I mean, let's be honest. They're waiting a lot longer, but you can get Ghost of Tsushima on Steam. You can get some PlayStation 5 exclusives, or at least they were exclusives, on Steam and stuff. You want to talk about, tearing down the exclusive barrier. If the Xbox console allows you to put the Steam operating system on it and the not operating system, the storefront, and the Epic storefront and the GOG storefront, well then essentially an Xbox player would eventually have access to those PlayStation games. Like, that's just what would happen. And Sony's going to either need to not put these games on Steam, or they're just going to have to accept that they are essentially a third-party developer as well. Like, there's just so many things that we don't know going forward, and I'm kind of curious to see what's it going to look like. How is this all going to play out? And, of course, the big thing is I have no doubt that the quality of the games on the new Xbox are going to be great. I have never really understood this whole thing where it's like, oh, Xbox doesn't have as many exclusives, so why would you get an Xbox? It's like, well, the hardware's good, the controller is good, the operating system works, Game Pass is wonderful, even at its current price. Like, people are acting as if, like, you know, playing games on Xbox is a miserable experience. It's not. It's a very fun experience. It's definitely more fun than playing on the Switch, which I actually think the Switch can be the most frustrating of all the experiences, because sometimes you have to hold the controller in a certain way that Nintendo wants you to play the game, and sometimes the game's just not as much fun. I mean, try talking to people who bought specialty Pro controllers just because they wanted, like, a real good feel for Mario Kart World rather than using the Switch controllers. Like, you know, there's a lot of things to like about Xbox. And by the way, let's talk about Halo being on PS5. And I don't know if Halo's going to be as multi-platform as Microsoft is making it seem right now. Like, I know they're putting a game on PS5. Never thought that would happen. Definitely a big deal. But it's also a remake of the first Halo game. Microsoft put the first Halo game on PC and back. They put Halo 2 on PC. I think the Master Chief Collection is on Steam. Like, who hasn't played the original Halo before? Like, what is PlayStation really getting with Halo Campaign Evolved? They're getting the first game with a nicer coat of skin. I mean, yeah, that's definitely going to bring in money. Like, it makes me wonder, though, like, is this Microsoft just kind of putting it out there to make some little extra money, but then when there's, like, a new Xbox console, it's going to be exclusive to Game Pass and Xbox, because that is the kind of game that can drive things. You never know. Things might change. I'm looking at this Halo release with a little bit of suspicion. Like, you finally announced Halo on something other than Xbox, and it's the first game again, which has been released on other systems before. So, I don't know. But here's the bottom line. Some of the things are concerning, but keep in mind, Xbox has lost the console war twice now. Third place, both times, over 10 years. That's a lot of time to basically be in third place and losing money. At some point, you have to try something new. And while this is not what console gamers typically want, and my initial reaction for some of these announcements were, I don't know if that sounds like a good idea, and some of them still don't sound like good ideas, there's a lot about it that it's like, you know what, I'm cautiously optimistic to see what this is going to look like. I'm cautiously optimistic to see what this is going to look like and how this is going to play, especially since I think game consoles have kind of hit a ceiling in terms of what they can do. They are essentially just PCs now anyway. Maybe it just takes like a Microsoft to essentially say, you know what, let's stop pretending. We've been selling you a PC this whole time. We're officially going to make it official. This is a PC for the living room. That was always the intention. We're finally doing it. And by the way, these games are still great. So anyway, I would love to know what you think about it. I know I'm probably in the minority on this one because Xbox hate videos are definitely like a big thing on YouTube and on podcasts right now. I might be one of the few who's actually looking at some of these decisions that Microsoft is making, and while not agreeing with all of them, kind of going like, I'm intrigued by what you're trying to do at the very least. I'm at least intrigued. But I'd like to know what you think. So if you are listening to this podcast on a platform where you can leave comments, please comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. And hey, if this is your first time here and you like what you hear, let's make this official and subscribe. We are available on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Deezer, all the podcasting platforms of your choice. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. Hey, you made it to the end. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Just a few more things. First of all, the names that you see on the screen, these are our Patreon and YouTube member supporters. And I thank each and every one of them. Their support helps me make exclusive videos for Patreon and YouTube members, as well as keep the channel running. And of course, is just of huge kindness to me. Also, don't forget to check out the iCritic-led podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, Deezer, whatever podcasting service you listen to. It is there. We definitely want to see you there. And hey, there's also other videos that you can check out. So, check out these other channels, these other videos, especially that one. I think that's a really good one.